was, we weren't working with my family, it'd kind of be, it'd feel funny because I've worked with them for so long.
Joe never had brothers, so when I was pregnant, in his mind he was having a son. That was it. I said, you don't know. He named him and everything.
I never had no brothers myself. Once I got married, then eventually we had 1 boy, 2 boys, and then I had 4 boys, and gradually we thought, oh my God, this is what's going to happen with these boys. So once the older one come along, he wanted to give it a go with me too. So he come on board, and then the second one come on board, and gradually all come on board. I thought, gee, this is a bit of an empire we've got here. So I have to try and make something out of it.
So probably about 13, 14 years ago, I started with my old man carpentry. So we were on site, and then slowly Matthew came along. He started working with us, and then Nathan came along and he started working with us, and Adrian came along and he started working for us. And before you knew it, my father had all these 4 sons working with him. My father made sure he always brought us up the right way. He always wanted to make sure he installed the right values in us right from a kid, going back to treating people how you wish to be treated, and your word is your word. It's actually funny because things that stands out the most is actually when my dad built his own homes, the homes that we lived in. They're moments that we actually really enjoyed as kids when we went to work with Dad, before we were old enough to work, before we knew what hard work was. We were just kids would actually get excited that Dad's taken us to the house that he was building.
I think I got into it mainly when I was back at school, 16 or 17. I always liked to see an end result. That was my main thing. And I was never a writing person or a paper person or a reading person, but I was pretty much a hands-on type of person. I really do get satisfaction out of achieving something and having a plan and actually see it come to life. It's just a satisfaction. And there's a lot of things in my carpentry days. We had a lot of difficult jobs, and you get through those difficult times, and when you stand back and see the finished result, you said all that worrying was for nothing, because look at the end result we got. But during that period, you think there's no end to it. It's just going to be continuous every day. There's always going to be the same problem, but you do get through that problem, and then you see that result. It just makes everything so wonderful. I never had a brother myself, so having 4 sons just makes it all so much easier to work with, and I just love working with them.
It hasn't always really been smooth sailing. Probably a number of years ago now, we lost my mum's brother, my Uncle Dom.
Well, my brother Dom, he worked for Joe when he was young, and then left and went to do concreting. Then came back for a little while, and he actually taught my boys a lot of stuff as well. So sadly, I lost my brother at the age of early 30s. He was like my son.
He come to work with me, and I felt it was a privilege to have him come work with me, and it was a good time. It was a really good time. I had to sort of, tread differently, and I watched out for him, and I really enjoyed that time with him.
And for my boys, he was a big brother. So when Joe came into my house, he was only 6. So he grew up with my boys. So when we lost him, that was a struggle for the boys. Especially Matthew didn't have that urge to want to go back to work, because what are we working for?
People are still working through things now, as you can only imagine. You're losing like an uncle and a brother and a son, and having that hiccup, it's real tough times. But it's times like that when your family pulls together, and you can actually show the family when they pull together in tough times like that, and it's really good. Ultimately, number one, the main thing is family. Growing up with all my 4 brothers around me, we always were around family, whether it be Nonna's house on the weekend, always around the family. Now growing up, getting married myself with my beautiful wife, Katarina, and my beautiful, now we just have a beautiful girl, Amelia. So it's ultimately family is the number one thing to me, and family always comes first.
For us, it's everything. Like Simone Homes is just my whole family unit.
Simone Homes is about a legacy that we created, and once we started up Homes, I thought, well, why are we going to put another name in? Let's just keep that same name going, because that name meant something to people. It meant security, meant trust. So I thought, let's keep Simone Homes, and that's why we kept that legacy going.
It's the fact that we have, you know, my mother there, my father there, and all my three younger brothers, having all that there, coming home together, doing it all as a team. That's the number one thing. If you were doing it on your own, it just would, to me, it wouldn't mean as much as what it did by doing it all together.
Something that I think Joe's always wanted to do all his life, but probably up until the boys became men, never had the support. So it's a legacy. It's a legacy.